na kupigana na uhalifu katika industry ya madini ama mining. Tuko hapa leo kwa sababu ya mafunzo, kuwafundisha hasa mining ni nini, sheria za mining, so that we create a system ambayo itapeana support kwa industry. Na hakikisho yetu hapa sisi kama wizara ni mambo mawili. Jambo la kwanza ni kwamba mtu yoyote ambaye anatumia rasilimali hizi kihalifu, sheria imfate. Mtu yoyote ambaye anafata sheria imsaidie na sisi tumuunge mkono. In essence, what we are trying to say is that we are here today for two important reasons. One is to train our officers to be able, first of all, to be able to support the industry players in two fronts. One, in ensuring they adhere to the regulations, the rule of law, and the constitution of our republic. We realize that minerals are a very important factor into our economic well-being as a country. Even though people don't realize, but it is important to note, for example, in the area of housing, what this ministry is contributing. You cannot build a house without a coral block, neither can you build a house without providing tiling, without steel and other factors. And even silica dust that produces cement, limestone that produces cement. So it is important that that entire industry is properly regulated so that there's sustainable growth in different sectors of our economy. So we have today launched the investigative arm of our enforcement. We have a new Commissioner of Police, Fatuma, who is here. She has been the DCIO of Kilimani. She's the one who unlocked Shakahola, by the way. Huyu ndo alishika Mackenzie huyu. Na haina tofauti. Mtu yoyote ambaye anahujumu uchumi hana tofauti na robbery with violence kwa bank. Because those are resources, those are revenues that belong to the Kenyan people, and not only for today, even for future generations. Because mineral ikiibiwa leo hairudi tena. So nataka tu nitoe hakikisho kwamba we have teams that are now in place to be able to ensure sheria inafuatwa. Na vile vile pia niwahakikishie tu the players in the industry that the ministry is here to offer you support. But for as long as you do the right thing. Number one, pay your royalty and pay on time. Number two, involve the local communities, pay them their rightful dues, involve them in what we call community development committees at the local level, where they're entitled to a 1% gross income that will enable them to be able to decide what really they want to do with their resources. Number three is to be able to work closely with county governments. So if you do that, you get a proper license, you pay your royalties, you involve and work closely with the communities. Our responsibility is to support you to thrive or to continue to grow. But also, if you think you are too smart and you would want to steal our minerals, now we want to assure you, we will not only enforce by arresting you on the ground, we will pursue you to wherever you go. So if you steal or gain from illegal resources here, and you move to other countries, even move residents, we will follow you, because now we have that capacity. We have the DCI with us. We are working closely with the Interpol, and we're going to be pursuing people who, for one reason or another, have imagined that they've gotten away with our resources. So don't attempt anymore if you used to do that. it's better ujisalimishe. Just come forward and say, mimi ndio yule, and we find some peaceful or amicable resolution going forward. So sisi tuko hapa kuhakikishia Wakenya kwamba hii kazi ya wizara itafanyika. Itafanyika efficiently, peupe, haraka na upesi. Kwa sababu hapa ni job tu. Kuna story mingi. Tumekubaliana? Mko na swali? Yes sir. It's the efficiency. So don't worry so much of how many DCI officers we have here with us today. I can tell you the number is it's going to be effective, and there is something called a whole government approach. We have DCI and general duty officers in every village of our country. The most important conversation which we should have is the levels of coordination and the center that controls the enforcement on matters of minerals. Because you also realize that once you make an arrest, it doesn't end with an arrest. There is, number one, successful prosecution. Number two, recovery. You know, people talk about prosecution. But for us, we want to be able to pursue so that we recover what was stolen from the Kenyan people. So don't worry about the number. There are many other units that are not here that we're going to be working with at county level and even at national level. So we're plugging into many other support systems that government has to offer. The minerals are many in our country. We almost have all kind of minerals the world has to offer. Too many: gold, coltan, cobalt, manganese, iron ore, titanium, graphite, and others, and so on and so forth. So, but unfortunately, many Kenyans do not really know what we have, and we're going to make it deliberate for us to be able to express clearly so Kenyans can be able to understand the kind of minerals we have going forward. We are looking at enhancing our revenue base in the ministry and our contribution to GDP. We said it earlier, our target is to get to 10%. Currently, we are at 1%. But we'll be analyzing for every 6 months where we're at and what needs to be done so we can achieve the 10% plan within the shortest possible time. It's going to take a while, but we must develop a clear plan that will make us realize the 10% contribution. I am sure you are able to calculate what 10% of our contribution to the GDP would mean.
Maybe the last question is
Dabel is just one. There are very many, I don't know whether to call them hotspots because they are spread almost all over. Today, if you go to Isiolo, you find illegal miners. You go to Taita Taveta, the same. You go to Dabel, is the epicenter probably, Migori. You go to the entire Nyanza block. The entire, you know, these mineral follow a certain path. There's a belt. They follow like a belt. So, unfortunately, the people who undertake these illegal activities, they understand how the belt moves. And I give you an example, like what is known as the Mozambique belt. It cuts across Taita Taveta into the conservancy areas, Savo. Then that same belt is found in Tarakanidhi area, and Kitui, Embu, and so on and so forth. So they know it. So you realize that they follow the entire belt. Sometimes they go as far as the farthest they've been is now the Bell or at the border point. So there is no specific hotspot. It's the entire country that we shall be running this operation.
The last question is on environmental degradation. Because when you mine, you need those details.
You come to apply for a mining license, you must have a plan. And that plan entails rehabilitation and other factors. So for far too long, there are people who have been mining and leaving abandoned sites or quarries. Even those we're going to pursue. If you mined and left, we find that there are liabilities that you must carry. We have to come for you. And the ones that we are licensing today, we ensure that you have a clear rehabilitation plan so that you don't just mine and leave. you must have a plan to rehabilitate the site that mining happens. Tumekubaliana? Asante.